One thing I want us to be cognizant of is that we've reached a point where Kenyans, we are going to stop reasoning with our heads. I can tell you. We are going to start reasoning with our abdomens. Now, it is true, Ebola is there. If it crosses the border here, what are we going to do? Now, it is out of preference. These people have decided to set that hub here. And this hub cannot be here and our people are dying. Before we set ours, that one is going to help our people. Yes. Then you tell us this hub is being set so that you bring quarantine. The only thing they've not said is that President Ruto has manufactured quarantine so that he can do Ebola, so that he can bring lockdown. What has come of our young pupils who are in school today? Our girls and boys have started burning schools. Those are the things we need to discuss. What is not adding up?
So, inakuja Tongo Nguvu, I go by the name of Ochino, the only Kenyan who is a man, a boy, and also a friend. And of course, when we see us seated here, it's because we're having a conversation that you've requested for us to have. And of course, today's conversation, it's a very interesting conversation. It's a conversation that talks about the current situation of the Ebola Quarantine Center in Kenya. Of course, by now, a lot of developments have happened over this issue. And of course, today with us to discuss this and give us his opinion on how he views this whole issue, we have a friend of the show and also who is a governance expert and a political analyst, George Aliet. Before we even get into the topic, we also have the issue of ODM. ODM ni kama walikuwa na rally pale Kisumu, a very big rally, one of the biggest rallies post Raila Amolo Odinga, but it's being said that ni kama walipewa some 200 million shillings to mobilize people to come. The question is mobilization of people to attend rallies in politics a bad thing, a good thing, or is it part of politics? And why is it that when other parties try to use money to mobilize people to attend rallies, haina makelele mingi kama ODM ikitumia pesa ku mobilize watu? To discuss this and much more, of course, George Aliet. George.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana bro.
The frequency yenye tunapatana, it's like inaenda ikireduce day by day.
I don't know.
Schedule yako haupatikani?
Not really the schedule. I think things must evolve.
Yeah.
Yes. We give them antidotes. We don't need to give them full dose.
Pole pole tukisonga.
Pole tukisonga. It is good we give them a week to synthesize and probably do comparison here and there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, a lot is happening in the country, but today I want us to talk about these two issues. The issue of ODM rally in Kisumu, which was a very successful rally in terms of numbers. The people who attended, ilikuwa watu wengi sana. And of course, the other issue of Ebola. But let's start with the issue of the ODM rally in Kisumu. Some people are saying this is one of the biggest, or if not the biggest rally, post Raila Amolo Odinga. For you, how did you see that rally in terms of, do you rate it as a success, or did it flop according to how you saw it from the social media spaces, or maybe you even attended? Unajua ni mwana ODM damu.
One, thank you very much. Wajua, always, you can never discuss nothing. And if you get a discussion of an issue, it means that issue is pertinent and very peculiar in a way. And that one tells you how important that part is.
Yeah.
There are so many things surrounding the event that happened that day. Let me say, one, I was privileged to be one of the attendees. And as fate has it, I was also privileged to be at the VIP table, because I was one among the dignitaries who are sitting there, of which most of them were elected officials from MCA up to the party leader. Besides those people, we had Luo elders headed by the care of the Luo, Odungi Randa. Then equally, we had some party leadership who are non-Luos, like Simbarati was there, Fernandez Barras of Governor of Kakamega was there, even though it was more or less a Luo affair. But then equally, because the whole senior stakes of the party, they were there to oversee the main objective why that event was held. So to answer your question, let me say this. According to me, the event was very successful. In fact, very successful indeed. To whoever who subscribed to the party's ideals and whoever probably knew why that event was held. The only thing I know is that people many a times will cast aspersion on so many aspects, because one, there are people who says ODM before was not fairing people when Raila was alive. And that one gives them a platform to probably start saying that ODM strength is winning, is becoming weak. Let me tell you, one, before you give a debate over an issue, you have to relatively know the denominator of the debate. The denominator of the debate around ODM event was that that day was to be a declaration of the Luo nation over the party's direction. And that's why ODM had to give a clear cut, because basically with the Raila strength, Raila could afford to handle declaration in every Luo county. It comes with issues cost, issues accessibility, and issues what? Issues the distance. But now, because of the Raila's strength is not there, and we are cognizant, the Raila's strength, nobody can even reach a quarter of it, of the people who are present now. And that's why they did decide, let us have a common place of doing declaration. And that's what necessitated people to be ferried. I can tell you for free, people were ferried. Even if you check, there were school buses. It was true, people were ferried. Are you getting what I'm saying? And this ferrying doesn't amount to the party being weak in terms of the strength. No. These people, if at all ODM had the muscle, like the one Raila had, they could have done, we say what? We say town halls in every area for people, Luos, to give declaration of where the party is going. But now, because of these other factors I've mentioned, they decided to hold this thing in a central place. And for the fairness, for the public participation, it has to allow people represented from Migori to come over, from Homa Bay to come over, people from Kisumu to come over, leave alone the general public, serious ODM followers. Ushaona, from Siaya equally. We came from Nairobi and nobody ferried us. But because we subscribe to the faith, we had to go and oversee the declaration of the Luo nation over the party's direction. And that's what transpired. Yeah. So having said that, we leave every Dick and Harry to give their opinion. And you can never gag somebody to give an opinion. But from where I sit, what we did was marvelous. We achieved our objects. And going forward, it is very clear. Despite any other narrative, we are with William Ruto for the total as a party. Anybody having divergent opinion, we don't deny the opinion. But he will have his say, we are going to have our way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still on the same issue here, ODM, it became very clear that now Oburu Odinga announced that he's going to defend his Siaya senatorial seat. And in the ODM constitution, you know that the party leader is the one who is usually the presidential flag bearer. And Simba Arati, the governor of Kisii, who is also a deputy party leader in ODM, said that ODM will now have a presidential candidate. How is it going to play out? You as an ODM member, are you going to see a situation where ODM is going to change its constitution? Or is there an ODM maybe deputy party leader who's going now to take that mantle of being the party leader of ODM? And do you think it is possible to have that party leader, to have that person who's going to be a presidential candidate under the ODM flag?
Let me tell you, my friend. Let me assume ODM decides as a party to fill a presidential candidate, and Oburu Odinga is not the probable candidate. They are duty bound to change the party's constitution to allow any other person, or probably Oburu Odinga, to step aside as the party leader, to give room for whoever feels he or she might run for the presidency to come to become the party leader. Or alternatively, they leave it open. Either a party leader can run for the presidency, or any deputy, or a deputy party leader can run for the presidency. But over the same, whatever declaration we did have, whatever arrangements we've had elsewhere, I think it is very clear. These are donations that are relevant to do what? To handle the audience or the information war. But I think as a party, we are not going to front a candidate. Yes. But come what may, we'll reach that, cross that bridge when we reach there. Yes.
Because a lot of people are now asking that question, because some people are also saying that ni kama tunaweza have a change in terms of the party leader now moving forward, especially now when we're going to create that coalition. The MCAs who are there, the MPs who are there, the senators who are there, a lot of them are still in the party, wajavuka the other side into the side ya Linda Mwananchi. And it's now clear that ni kama ODM sasa imeamua kusettle with the ones that are still in-house in terms of the ones that are loyal to the party moving forward. But it is emerging, John Mbadi was also present in that forum, and he was among one of the principal speakers there. Are we going to see a situation whereby in 2027 Mbadi might resign from his position as the finance CS and go into elective politics and seek an elective position? Or are we going to see John Mbadi go into the elections of 2027 supporting President William Ruto, still holding his position of CS finance? And are we going maybe to see him uh, finishing his 5-year term if now President Ruto wins 2027, go all the way up to 2032 as CS finance moving forward?
What I can tell you for a fact is that one thing we have to be cognizant about is that the CS Mbadi, the person we call Nyang, is a member of the party. And being that society-wise is in the higher cadre of the Luo nation per se, as well as the party, because at any given time, it's one of the emissaries the party sent to the government. And so that one doesn't delink him from playing party roles, because there's no way, as long as he doesn't hold a legit position that bars him from being a civil servant. On membership is not gag. And that's why at any given time, he's allowed to grace some of these party functions. One thing I will tell you for a fact is that at the end of the day, is that CS Mbadi, not unless he pronounces himself after this, but from where I know and where I sit, CS Mbadi is not going to run in an elective seat come 2027. Over issue of him supporting Ruto, that's none question. He's supporting Mheshimiwa Rais. And that's why if you get his pronouncements always, you always say that you need to identify your friends. And as the Luo nation, we've identified our friends. We know who our friends are and who our enemies are. And I think you know what justifies somebody to be a friend. And two, on issues him being the CS after the re-election of the president, I think that one we cannot say now. It is a prerogative of the president. But having seen what is done, I don't think in the wild minds the president might even think of replacing him. I think he's done the best, and I think their working relationship is okay. And going forward, God willing, if nothing different happens, is going to proceed as the CS finance. Anything going to come up in 2032, in any aspiration, everybody will always want vertical mobility. And him being the CS finance, if all factors are kept constant and he feels that he has all it takes to run for the presidency, I think nothing bars him. Because when it comes to personal potentiality as John Mbadi, professionalism, charisma, habit, I think he has what it takes to be the president of this country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's now move forward and now talk about the issue of the Ebola quarantine facility that has been proposed to be set up for Laikipia Air Base.
Yes.
There's a section of Kenyans who are looking at it, arguing why is it that the US government is not setting up this facility in DR Congo, where this Ebola disease or pandemic erupted, and they're coming to set it here in Kenya, and they're setting it in Kenya for US citizens who are affected by this disease to gain from it, or to be quarantined in that facility, and not Kenyans. But there are also a section of Kenyans who are looking at it as a preventive measure in terms of the Kenyan government is anticipating that there might be an emergence of some Kenyans who maybe contract this disease, because it is general knowledge that there are some truck drivers who usually go all the way to the route of Congo, the route of Uganda, because there's some cases also in Uganda. For them, they're saying that it's a good move that the government is doing, but at least going into this agreement that was signed before in the previous administration and setting up that facility. The CS Duale, the CS of Health, when he appeared before the parliamentary plenary yesterday, He said that there should even be a more quarantine facilities which should be set up in other parts of the country so as to have Kenyans prepared by the time such a situation whereby in future EKC a case of Ebola itaweza kuja Kenya and maybe some few people waipate watakuwa prepared, unlike the way the COVID-19 got Kenyans unprepared. For you as George Aliet, for these two Kenyans, who is right and who is wrong from how they are viewing this issue, Ebola quarantine facility being set up in Laikipia?
One, let me tell you one simple thing. Ebola is not an outbreak that started yesterday. It has been there. And I remember there was a time when the health personnel from Kenya played a major role in Botswana to mitigate it. And they performed excellently well. Two, I think Kenya is not immune from Ebola. Yeah, we are never in a safety net whatsoever. And so, politics aside, I think Kenyans must be cognizant that getting that quarantine facility in Kenya, first, is a privilege and honor, just in case. Two, we have a scenario where Kenyans will always want to politicize everything, and more so when it is not done with the blessing of certain unit of the Kenyan population. Why haven't Kenyans asked why, instead of DRC and any other country, UN is setting bases in Kenya? Why haven't they asked that? One thing I want us to be cognizant of is that we have reached a point where Kenyans, we are going to stop reasoning with our heads. I can tell you. We are going to start reasoning with our abdomens. Yes. Why am I saying that? We've reached a point where the Kenyan leadership will castigate anything depending who's brought up that idea. Not because that idea is bad. Let's say, for example, we have an outbreak in Kenya of Ebola. Will you want external assistance?
Obviously.
We'll want it. So, in an event, the facility is already availed in the Kenyan soil, and most importantly, in a highly protected area. You still see Kenyans castigating. The worst part of it, we are at the rooftops making noise. This is one agreement that wasn't even signed yesterday. It has been signed and renewed with the previous administration, not this one. And we didn't make noise. Today we are making noise. You will get them saying, at this point in time, Martha Koome must rise to the occasion and ensure stringent measures in terms of enforcing the court order in regard the government violates. Forgetting the Supreme Court of the land, the former CJ, David Maraga, did give a direction even to the president and the parliament then to dissolve parliament because of the three-quarter gender rule. Was it honored? It was okay. And nobody went to the street. Nobody even told the CJ then of how to enforce the ruling of the Supreme Court. At this point in time, we don't know where the son of Kano, Miguna, is a citizen of Kenya, or probably going to come back here because his citizenship was revoked by a previous administration. Enormous court orders were violated. No Kenya was making noise. Even Miguna's henchmen like me. I want to tell you, the questioning of why Kenya and not any other place. One thing we have to be cognizant, this one pandemic is in part of Congo one. And if you check the East Africa, the biggest economy is Kenya, followed by Congo, DRC Congo. So basically, that's a danger zone. That's a red zone. The only immediate place to set up the camp is another big economy within the area. You don't expect Americans to be lifted to a quarantine in the US. Yet there's a major economy in the area. The privileges and honors this country holds in terms of the international stage should be respected by Kenyans. And if we are not seeing them, I think we need to go and stay in the oblivion. Not here. I don't know whether there's inhabitable place in the oblivion.
But
because Kenyans, we are not serious. I can tell you we are not serious. This culture of castigating everything. Huh? The other time, it was GMO, 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 GMO. We were going to die in the next second. Are we dead? Are we consuming them? So what I'll say, this issue is not about quarantine. This issue is about bringing the Ruto's government down. It is just opportunities being used. Yes, and it is not going to come down. We are all bent to ensure that. Yes. This affordable house people are making noise. Who signed the deal? Who started affordable housing? The only difference is mechanism of implementation. Not even Ruto. Did people go to the street? When now you make noise about infrastructure framework being built in other parts of the country, and you don't make noise of the ones that built in central nation, then you expect us to sit down and reason soberly that something is going wrong. I don't think we are helping one another. The truth of the matter is, Kenya government must rush to the occasion, understand and analyze the repercussions in case that pandemic spills outside the quarantine area. What are they going to do? What are the safety nets they put in place? Are you getting that? But the issue is not throwing the baby and the bathwater with the baby. No. That facility is important to the country because we are equally not immune of the what? Of the problem. Now the only thing is that how do we ensure the disease doesn't cross the border inside this country? The only thing I expected people to start making noise about, how to ensure that our people doesn't cross the border to the endangered areas. Those people doesn't come to this country. That's the first quarantine strategy. But not that you are given a center to ensure you control, then you elongate the other measures. But you make noise, you want to ensure that center is not built. My friend, it is going to be built, the center must work, and the government must proceed. Whoever is not contented, let them understand a time is coming. This administration is going to go. Let them come and implement what they want. But for now, let the Kenyan government implement what they want, what they are doing. That's the issue. The issue is not the quarantine police facility. The issue is not what. The issue is that this government should go. That's the narrative.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's also the debate that people are saying that if then it is only one facility that is going, one quarantine facility that is going to be set up, and it's going to be set up only in Laikipia Air Base inside an army barracks, that is the Laikipia Air Base, a place that is being protected by the KDF. It means that the ordinary Kenyan citizen cannot access. But they're also saying that with that amount of money of 1.8 billion, then it means that that money is enough to even open other quarantine facilities in other parts of the country. Do you believe then, if now then the government has decided that they're going ahead to set up this facility, is there a need to set up other facilities in other parts of the country? And if it's other part of the country, is it going only to be in a army barracks because of the safety of Kenyans, and also just to prevent cases like the one that we had in Congo, whereby the citizens who are against such a kind of quarantine facilities being set up in their country, they ended up banning such facilities?
One thing I want to tell you is very simple. There's no cause for alarm. Everything must take due diligence. In an event, there's going to be need for more facilities. Kenya government is going to set them. And holistically, it is not a matter that it has to be set in a what? In a military barrack. Are you getting that? Now, this one was a self-exclusive case. I think they were trying to, some of this noise you are getting, those are some of the mitigation measures they were trying to foresee, and that's why they've decided on the barracks. Otherwise, they could have set it anywhere. And because of these nonsensical arguments we have around here, that's why they've decided for that. But going forward, there's no government that is careless with our citizens. If need arises, these centers are going to be set everywhere where there's need. Yes.
And also, because in Kenya, it's like almost every issue that comes up and has a lot of interaction, especially like this one, there's usually a political angle to it. And the political angle to this one is that the united opposition has handled it in such a way that they did a press conference issuing a joint press release. In that press release, we had the likes of Jubilee Party, DCP Party, we had DAP, we had Wiper, DP, and the parties that are affiliated with the United Opposition. And they came out very strongly condemning this move. But and a lot of people online commended them because they're saying that at least for the first time in a very long time, the United Opposition is keeping the government in check using facts and using that as a general feeling of the country. But before even things settled, Rigathi Gachagua went on media, that is the Kikuyu media, and he was saying that, alleging that it's like the government is introducing this thing of Ebola so that they can have a lockdown, preventing the United Opposition to continue spreading the one term slogan. And it's like now the government is using it as a way also to contain anti-government campaigns happening in the country, because he was alluding a situation whereby we can see Kenya going into lockdown the way to learn on COVID-19, and he's saying that the government is using that as a strategy kuua hiyo momentum ya one term. Is he justified? Because he said that there are countries that have used that, presidents have used that so that they can get their second term or their other term into office. Is that justifiable?
From where I sit, it is justifiable. From where I sit, it is justifiable. But if it is justifiable, that's the best thing to tell him what power is. He will relax and wait for his time to come. Yes. If he understands that an opportunity can be created to contain you, and he understands if it is contained, there's nothing he can do. Why is he making noise? Let him relax and wait for 2032. We talk of leadership.
But if then he goes on such a media campaign propagating such a thing to his followers, don't you think then it's like he's causing a panic? That's why maybe a lot of people are talking online and I find the issue end out of hand.
The panic from his end is his problem as his followers. I get what I'm saying.
But they're Kenyans, Aliet.
Let me tell you, the fact that you are a Kenyan cannot stop me from breathing, my friend. Must I breathe your oxygen? There are things we need to understand. If today your house is locked, must I go also sleep outside because you don't have a place to sleep? I sleep very well. If you don't take lunch because you don't have money, must I also fast because you don't have money? Whatever he's doing befits him and his followers. And we don't care. Yes. The only thing is that if the truth stands, truth will stay for a very long time. This seat will not live to see the end of the day. That's the truth of the matter. Yes. Because now, for example, for today, if let's say, for example, the government decides now the facility we are not taking because Kenya doesn't want it, and we have an outbreak, what do you expect of the government? You reprimand them to set up facilities? If they say now, because these facilities will make this disease be common, we are not setting it. What are they going to say next? So the truth of the matter is, as a leadership, you have to decide and chart the way forward and do it. If you are going to be swayed by what people say, you are not going to move an inch. Yes, because now it is true, Ebola is there. If it crosses the border here, what are we going to do? Now, it is out of preference. These people have decided to set that hub here. And this hub cannot be here, and our people are dying. Before we set ours, that one is going to help our people. Yes. Then you tell us this hub is being set so that you bring quarantine. The only thing they've not said is that President Ruto has manufactured quarantine so that he can do Ebola, so that he can bring lockdown. Some of these people, let me tell you, some of these people, even where to classify them to me is a problem. Because you get somebody old, you think that person is an elite, talks like a dog. So where do you classify that person? You always want to create an intention out of nothing. The other day you did see them making a lot of noise. And one thing, there are things you cannot deny. Kenyan law is part of the international law. The moment Uhuru decided to sign that agreement, it is part of the Kenyan law. Revoking it, it does not even comply to WHO convention agreements. How do you decide now that me, myself, my area is safe, and so I cannot have people of asylum? Those people who their areas people are fighting, you cannot accommodate them because they are not your residents.
Yeah.
That one is not allowed. Now you tell me, because we are more peculiar and special, the Americans will just die because the only condition they have to be airlifted to their native areas so that they be attended. While we have our brothers here who can, let me tell you, where we've reached as a country, we have to be serious. And the level of seriousness is that if we cannot mitigate the nonsensical tribal narratives, I think Kenyans must kill one another so that we have a new breed who understands what a friend or a neighbor is. Yes.
Aliet, tumalizie the interview of the day, a conclusion now. Because day after day after day, the Kenyan citizens wanaendelea wakiwa more enlightened. Civic education inafanyika sana, especially even online, and this talks of whether this facility should be here, whether some facilities ziongezwe na nini, it's all because of this new civic education. Yes, the government has said that they're going on and there is no need for public participation. Then what should Kenyans demand of the government? Should they demand that more information be given to them so that they know how many people are there as of now, of which nationalities? Or should the government handle this with secrecy and privacy so as to reduce the tension that is in the country on this issue as we finish?
I think what is very important is that everybody must know his or her area of jurisdiction, both physically, even mentally. I think it is not the prerogative of the government to ensure every nitty-gritty information we are given. You are told there are 1,000 people there. How is it going to help you?
Aliet, people must know because what
let me tell you. Let me tell you, my friend. I don't need to massage your ego so that we talk. If you are told there are 1 million people there, how is it going to help you?
I'm a Kenyan citizen. I'll have to know.
Once you've known, you'll be satisfied.
No, the same way. You remember during the COVID pandemic, COVID-19, they were updating us of the numbers of new infections.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. These people are not Kenyans. There's no room for you being told. Let me tell you, in an event we have an outbreak today here, let's say, for example, in border town, you'll be told already the pandemic is with us. Out of the people we've screened, we've gotten 3. 2 are repercuting. Others are in bad conditions. We've lost 1. That thing you'll be told. From there, we've also identified a case in Kisumu for awareness. But this is a self-exclusive thing. These people are being just brought here for corporation. You get that?
Yeah.
So you are told we brought 11 people. How is that one helping you? And these people are placed in a highly protected area. My friend, you just have that ample time to think of nonsense.
It's a serious issue, Aliet. It's a killer disease. So for what I get from you is that unless and until when a Kenyan citizen is affected by this Ebola issue is when maybe the government cannot issue more information.
When now it is a disaster on our end. But it's not a disaster in our end. We have even, let's say, for example, there are companies like the UK one dealing with the clinker. Do they always, because it is in the Kenya soil, do they always give you their financial report like the way Kenya does? Let us be limited in our jurisdiction and think what is viable to us. We cannot just think of every trash we are given. How is it helping us? Hey, surely. My friend, Kenyans, we have problems.
Aliet.
Mine is very simple. Kenyans, let us be very clear of what we want and where we are going. I think we have just excess problems for us to solve. Let us stop this nonsense. We are being, our minds are being what? Configured to think of things that are not helping us. Ours is very simple. How do you want our government to deliver Where do we want them to come where they are not doing well? What is it that we are aspiring to achieve when now the scorecard is given to justify how we are going to do election? We cannot just have time. We just discuss anything coming around. Yes, I think at this point in time, what Kenyans need to discuss, what has come of our young pupils who are in school today? Our girls and boys have started burning schools. Those are the things we need to discuss. What is not adding up? But we start talking of a facility of a pandemic, something that's not there. It is a clarion call for the government to start putting measures or how to mitigate the disease not to be here. Huh? But if we just want to discuss everything opposition tells us, that's what we discuss, we are missing the point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sasa Aliet, shukran sana for coming. And of course, I'm sure the people who usually follow your interviews in this channel have also gotten the opportunity to hear your thought on these two issues, the issue of ODM, a rally in ODM in Kisumu, and of course on the issue of Ebola facility that is proposed to be set up in the Laikipia Air Base. And maybe if it's your first time watching and you have a different view, you have a different opinion with what Judge Aliet has discussed on the two topics, up chini kwa comment section, give us your comment and give us your opinion so that even when Judge Aliet himself goes and watches this interview again, anaweza kusoma your comment and your opinion and maybe adjust a thing or two on how he views these two issues. I've been your host Ochino, the Kenyan who is a man, a boy, and also our friend. Till next time, keep it locked.